Yeah. Up in the building. Yeah, we lighting up the scene. Crypto gems on radar, chasing every dream. Do your own research, that's the golden theme. We bring the facts, no cap, we keep it clean. Scrolling through the charts, got my eyes on the rise. Viber got the info, got me feeling so wise. No hype, just the truth, yeah, we cutting through lies. Sharpen knowledge on the daily, watch the profits multiply. From Bitcoin to the altcoins, we digging for gold. Community so strong, never do what you're told. That's the motto, let the story unfold. We ain't selling you a dream, just the facts to behold. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep the future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. No pump and dump, just the realest advice. We break it all down, make it simple and nice. Every tip, every trick, got you rolling the dice. But with knowledge in your pocket, you can win every price. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep your future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. So when you're lost in the crypto sea, Viber is the light, come vibe with me. Stay smart, stay sharp, and you'll always see the best gems shine with transparency.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vibraville. Hope you're having a good day. Today, we are going to be talking about the Gray's currencies. If you don't know, Pulsechain, it's not looking good on the surface, but behind the scenes, people are building, stuff is happening. And this is when opportunities and the wealth is made. When no one believes, everyone's looking elsewhere. You come in and you find the blue chips that are going to run in the next cycle. And I think people are very, very bearish right now, which makes me extremely bullish. And on that note, we are bringing up the Prairie Banana and the TheGray369. What is up, fellas?
Good day, Vibra. How's it going, man?
Doing well, doing well.
Super.
What about you, Mr. Gray?
What's up, Vibra? Thanks for having us on again. I really appreciate it. I think, Vibra, I think you're day one or at least week one in PTGC, right?
Yeah, 40K market cap when it was
40K.
like in the first week for sure. Yep. Pure accident, though. I'm not going to say that was, research or it was just luck. But hey, that's sometimes you rather be lucky than smart, right?
Yeah, I think that's the pro. I think we consider when PTGC came out kind of bear market times, or at least getting ready for what the altcoin season was. It wasn't as exciting as a lot of people were waiting for, but I think that's proof if you're kind of just in the trenches or kind of hanging out, waiting, paying attention, looking for those gems, you can run across them. And I think right now in the market, we have that opportunity again. We're at really low levels. You can find great projects for extremely cheap. I think PTGC and UFO are amazing projects at extreme discounts right now. And the people who are kind of here grinding can very much take advantage of the market bringing the prices down of all these great products.
100%, man. And look, as like bad it is, this is a good time to reflect and look back on everything since Pulsechain launched. And to me, there's a fine line between a project's launching and then just this oversaturation and just too many projects that people are there for a month or 2 months and then they disappear. And now you have all these takers, all these dead projects, and it gets to a point where the delusion is just it brings the chain down. And the bear market here kind of cleanses that, rinses everything, resets it, and the cream will rise to the top again once we start to climb up in this next cycle.
Yeah, that is one of the hard things about cryptocurrency, especially now where you can mint tokens for pretty much just a click of a button with pump.fun, pump.tires. I'm not saying those are bad things. I think giving everyone the ability to be a founder is cool. A lot of people have a lot of integrity, just not coding skills, and this gives them the opportunity to come out with something and put some effort into something. But the truth is 99.9% of projects fail. They fail because bad actors, they fail because of bad design, they fail because of bad marketing. So everyone needs to realize when you're in this space, 99.9% of things are going to fail. So you need to hunt down that 0.1%. And when you find that 0.1%, hold on to it, join the community, work for your bags, do what you can to assist that project going upwards, because if you can help assist it, obviously that's going to increase the value of your portfolio.
Definitely. So yeah, what Mr. Prairie Banana, I know you have been grinding every single day, posting, building for PTGC, new websites, new apps, and I can't wait to see the fruits of your labor come to bear here in the near future, because there's very few people out here that you could say they've been here every single day through good and bad, no matter what happens, still just pushing through. And you've been one of those people. So really respect that.
Thanks. You know, when you spend so much time in an ecosystem, like I spent a lot of time in Hex. When I got into Hex I bought the top in 2021. And I think I almost intuitively, because I don't understand all the mechanics, right? But I came into Hex and I saw something there with Hex, Richard Hart, and I just got all in. And then when I discovered PTGC, same thing. I understand a lot more about crypto since getting into PTGC. But when you study the ecosystem, when you study the tokenomics for over 2 years now, it's crystal clear that PTGC and UFO both are going to crush it this cycle. It's crystal clear to me, but I still kind of feel like there's a little bit of like just sense about these tokens too. And so I'm working based on a little bit of knowledge, but a little bit of sense too, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And I'm with you. It's like we saw what it did in the last cycle with thousands of X's, and that was with Pulsechain doing like a 10X. Like we didn't have anything really a pump in Pulsechain. Every time we pumped, it just got sold off. It could not maintain. But yet PTGC and UFO did incredible numbers. And I just think, man, what happens the day when Pulsechain actually thrives? If Richard Hart, the SEC lawsuit is finally done, the Interpol stuff, one of the two charges I think is gone. So finally, when he's free from whatever you want to call it, the law or this Interpol nonsense, he's streaming again. Like we haven't had that yet. We haven't seen the full potential of what can be. So that's what keeps me excited, and just knowing what we did in the past and how many more holders we have, how much more supply is burnt. It's just like, yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
I would say the most exciting to me, Vibra, is this chart right here, PTGC against WPLS. And I think I put this on Twitter today. This is PTGC in WPLS terms. Look at this performance of this Gray's currencies from, let's go back to when it was maybe a $40,000 market cap to today. It's up against the layer one, minimum of 18,000%. I think it's more like 300,000%. If you actually measure it from even like the second week, it's in the hundreds of thousands of percent up against the L1, which has been grinding down against PTGC pretty much the entire time. So you got to ask yourself, you know, this token is up against, it's up in USD and up against the L1. So what is going to happen when the L1 eventually, as we all suppose and hope, turns around? One can only guess. It's probably going to go bananas, this little token, and perform even better.
Yeah, Banana, I think that's a good point. And real quick to rewind, Vibra, you brought up that when we've done some of our biggest moves, it was with Pulsechain moving up, and you said a 10x on Pulsechain. It's actually only a 6x on Pulsechain. The biggest run that we've had on Pulsechain from its lows to its highs has only been a 6x move. And in those 6x moves, PTGC has been able to do like 50x moves. I think around a year and a half ago, PTGC started a 7-month move where it actually did a 100x in 7 months. It went from a 4.5 mil market cap all the way to a 450 mil market cap in a matter of 7 months. And that was with Pulsechain. I think in that time period, Pulsechain only did like a 4 to 5x. So every time, and this goes back to Banana, every time Pulsechain starts moving up, PTGC has been able to do some massive numbers because Pulsechain moving up is a sign of value actually flowing into Pulsechain. Every time value starts flowing into Pulsechain, PLS going up is the best indicator of that. PTGC can also increase in value because new users are coming in, more volumes coming in, more volatilities coming in. These are all the things that make PTGC trigger. But what's unique, especially like right now and sometimes before that value starts coming in, is this unique product can actually start doing X's against Pulsechain even without that value coming in as well. And I think it's just important to highlight where we are in Pulsechain now compared to where it was when we did some of those 50x moves. Those 50x moves, Pulsechain was like at 404, which is only like a 2.5x back to SAC rate, where right now we are at pretty much 401, even sometimes a little bit lower, 509. That's a 10x back to SAC rate. So with Pulsechain just going back to those numbers that we've previously been before, we're now able to do like 20x's instead of 6x's and stuff like that, which will be massive for PTGC because we've already seen what it could do with just a 6x.
Dude, yeah, bro. I didn't know. I thought that's crazy that Pulse only did a 6x, man. And all these guys that were out here talking about 10,000 X's are coming. It's just,
well, and that's a 6x from the low. That's not like a 6x from sacrifice price or anything like that. That's pretty much a 6x from 4035 up to 302. So we got to twice of SAC price on Pulsechain. Obviously coming off of that low, that was a 6x move. But just even think about where we are now, the opportunity that we have right now on Pulsechain. PTGC is stronger, better distributed, more LP, larger community, more tools that I think we're going to go over in a little bit. But Pulsechain, instead of a 6x from 3 zeros and a 2, we're now 20x from 3 zeros and a 2. And a 20x multiplier to whatever we can do in that time frame is massive. And that's why, like, I think it's just so important to highlight the people who are taking action, taking advantage of the bear market are going to be the users that have the capital to sell in the bull market. But you have to have, you know, the cojones to buy these dips, to buy these cheap prices on Pulsechain. Because now these prices are so cheap, we don't even need Pulsechain to do these massive moves like a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people wanted, you know, 20x sacrifice price or 100x sacrifice price. Pulsechains came down so cheap. As long as you take advantage of these prices, stables, maybe you have some Ethereum or Bitcoin, maybe you have fiat that you can bring in, you actually don't need that many X's over sacrifice price. You know, for an example, a 10x sacrifice is 100x from here on the blockchain.
That ties in with Travis 5515's question. How many X's do we think PTGC and UFO can do in the next cycle? I'll just address PTGC. If Pulse goes to, like you said, 20x from here, and PTGC manages to, and I think it can, work up 10 and work itself up 10x against Pulse. You take that 10 times the 20, and that's 200. That would be a 200x for PTGC. And then PTGC and UFO are thickly bonded together. Like their biggest LPs is with WPLS, but then their next biggest LPs is with each other. So they're going to move together, at least somewhat.
Yep. And that's where, like, yeah, people are gonna, we're gonna do 10,000. Well, this right here is how you know whatever Pulsechain does. I just use that 8 to 10x above it. Pulsechain does a 5x, we'll do a 40 to 50x. If Pulsechain does 10x, 80 to 100x, because that was done in the past. So why I think that would be ballpark to what we would do in the future. So, you know, it all depends on how high we go depends on, unfortunately, how high Pulsechain will go.
Yeah, Pulsechain's move is obviously that multiplier that just makes the X's get really large. And I agree, Vibra. Like in the past, we've done two massive moves. Not really massive for Pulsechain, but PTGC did some pretty massive moves. And it was because of us utilizing that multiplier effect. When Pulsechain did a 5x, we did a 10x over that. And that's how we were able to get those 50x moves. And those aren't like from bottom market caps. You know, that wasn't from like 40K market cap. Where some of our largest runs were from 4 million up to 400 million. And the reason we're able to do those massive moves with a somewhat large token with large amounts of LP is because we're utilizing this X multiplier idea to the maximum effect. And the crazy thing is the opportunity to utilize that X multiplier has never been better because Pulsechain has never been lower than it is right now.
Yeah, bro. Now it's hard. It's hard
Banana,
to do.
real quick. Could you throw UFO on that chart that's on this screen
sure.
as well? UFO's done pretty good against the market as well recently.
It's in the green. Let's remove some of these more larger cap coins. There's UFO. So we have PTGC in the gold, UFO in the green, PulseX Hex down a little lower in the other colors. There you go.
Yeah, it got like what I got wrong in this last cycle was I thought we would have clarity much sooner. I thought we were going to have the institutional money coming in 2025, but that didn't happen with all the nonsense, the government shutdowns, the economy, the job falsifications. And once we get clarity coming, that's going to allow big money to enter the market. If you're sitting on 50 or 100 million dollars and you're thinking about building out a platform for crypto and users, but you know in the future this could potentially become illegal, you're never going to deploy that capital. So once legislation is here, that actually allows the trigger to be pulled. And that's what I'm seeing and I'm hearing from the research that I've been doing, is that as soon as we get clarity, we will start to see real money come in. Because right now, this is just retail sloshing money around, moving it around, pump this, pump that, dump over here, and everyone's broke. So until that dam breaks and new money comes in, you know, we have an opportunity to scoop up these lows. And it's hard to do, but this is the time where you have to buy the blood.
Well, and I think we have a good opportunity to move up as well. So like a lot of people I hear talking about, like they act like it's impossible to move up against like Bitcoin and Ethereum or against like the gas tokens in the bear, which I get it. It's difficult, right? It's a lot easier to move up when money is flowing into the markets and when ETH's moving up and Bitcoin's moving up. But the best time to grind is at these low levels when ETH and Bitcoin aren't moving up. And I think kind of Banana highlights that well right here. If you want to throw Bitcoin and Ethereum into that comparison chart, Banana.
Yep.
What we're working really hard at right now with PTGC and UFO is utilizing this bear market to onboard IRL people into PTGC. Because every X that we can do against Pulsechain, against ETH, and against Bitcoin before the market picks back up is a massive multiplier to our gains when the market starts working with us. Kind of like, you know, if you're swimming against current and you're in a race with everyone else, if you can cover ground even working against the current, when the current finally switches to your side and you're that much ahead of everyone else, well, you're just going to blow everyone out of the water. So that's our goal, is like, hey, if Bitcoin stays flat this year, if Ethereum stays flat this year, if Pulsechain stays flat this year, we don't care. We're going to do as many X's and we're going to onboard as many people as we physically can with this bear times, because for one, we're going to be that much more ahead when the green does start to come. And for two, a lot of people don't realize every dollar you bring into your project at the lows does more effect than bringing them in at the highs, because right now liquidity is sucked out of PTGC and UFO because every token we're connected to is very far down, right? So since our liquidity is sucked back, not because we've pulled it, but because our connected assets are currently pulled back 90%, and so on, every dollar that we bring into PTGC does more price appreciation for PTGC and UFO than if we brought that same dollar amount at the top or at mid ranges. So if we're able to bring $2 million in now in the bear market, this could send PTGC up 5x. But if we bring $2 million in after Pulsechain revalues a little bit, that might not even do a 2x, right? So it's the same value getting brought in, but you're able to increase your value so much more doing the work now. And to mention, the people you're onboarding in, you're getting them in at better prices, right? Why would you want to onboard someone while, let's say, this whole entire system's up 3x? Or you can get them in now when we're at bottom dollar prices. And when they're up once we run a 3x, these users are already up 3x. They're already winning. They're already having a great experience. And if they're having a great experience, they're going to be onboarding new people. They're going to be telling friends, family members, coworkers, and they're going to be getting these new people into PTGC as well. So that's like very much what we're focusing on right now. I look at PTGC currently at like over a 90% discount. Great distribution in 2025. And it's our year. In 2026, it doesn't matter if the market's flat, even if it goes down, we can still have an amazing year because of the infrastructure that we have and the community that we have as well.
So I just highlighted putting $2 million into PTGC on this site, which, by the way, guys, you can go visit. And Viber, this is for you too. I don't know if I sent you this site, but it's PTGC-UFO.com. Shaka built it. It's free for our community. Anybody can use it. PTGC-UFO.com. You go play around with this is the calculators tab. You go play around with the calculators. There are several of them. I wanted to answer, Travis 5515. He has a question. He says, do you guys personally think right now is the best opportunity ever to get into these coins? I've never waited to buy PTGC. And from my perspective, this is a great time to buy PTGC and UFO. But that's not financial advice. That's my opinion.
So yeah. Ever is an odd way to put it, because obviously the best time ever to get into PTGC was when Viber got into it, like when it was at a 40K market cap. But I do think the opportunity that we're looking at right now is very unique with PTGC and UFO. When Viber got into it, it was a very different landscape. We were still kind of proof of concept. This was a brand new idea. I was a brand new founder out there. Community was still being developed. Liquidity wasn't large yet. Like, one of our goals, just to show you how far we've evolved, was to get to 5 billion PLS in the main liquidity pool. Right now, we're sitting at 30 billion PLS in the main liquidity pool. Every single transaction adds to this liquidity pool. We've been growing. So everything in cryptocurrency has evolution. You know, Ethereum started as a speculative asset and turned into one of the biggest store of values in the entire world. Bitcoin started as a speculative asset and has evolved into one of the largest store of values in the entire world. I believe PTGC will go through the same evolution. 2.5 years ago, it was very speculative, very little liquidity. Today, still very speculative. You can still do hundreds of X's, even more, but I do think eventually it's going to evolve into a store of value that actually competes with the largest cryptocurrencies in the world, because mechanically, I think we have more than them. We have deflation, we have built-in APY, and then now we even have ways that our community can earn just by onboarding to the protocol, which we'll go over that in a little bit. So going back to the question, is this the best opportunity ever to get in? Probably not. 2.5 years ago was the best opportunity ever to get in. But where we are in the last 1.5 years of Pulsechain, I do look at the levels right now as some of the best levels that you could possibly get forever from now on for PTGC. One, PTGC is on an extreme discount. against Pulse, right? We had pretty much a massive pullback throughout 2025. Alt tokens peaked pretty much over a year ago, a year and 2 months ago, I think, and it pulled back for an entire year. It looks like it's kind of bottomed. It looks like alt tokens have kind of bottomed. And you also have Pulsechain looking like it's bottomed. What we have found in the past, every time the market has bottomed, when ETH's bottom, when Bitcoin's bottom, when Pulsechain's bottom, these have been the best times to rotate into PTGC and UFO. Even if it was just short term, I hope that you like the products long term and you stay for what the product's been designed to be, as a true store of value that has built-in APY and deflation. But even if you're just coming for the quick X's, the best times to grab your bag is when the entire market is finding a bottom. And what's unique about this bottom is Pulsechain has never been lower. So in the past, when we found these bottoms, Pulsechain was like 4x higher than it is today. Now, just getting back to some of those old bottoms, you'd already be up 4x on your bag against Pulsechain. Going back to Pulsechain's highs, you'd be up 20x just off of your multiplier. And then you also have, again, the fact that it's a proven system now. It's 2.5 years old. The code's been battle tested. Liquidities are burnt. You have a massive community built tools, referral systems now, all these unique features that have been developed for 2.5 years. And for me, I think it looks like it's Pulsechain's time. I think the distribution has been taking place for 3 years on Pulsechain, getting the tokens into the right hands. Same has been going for PTGC. And it just seems like such a great opportunity moving into the future for PTGC and UFO from these levels.
Yeah, dude. Because when I first got into it, I remember we were in spaces with Mando, and you were hated by the community just because you built a project on Pulsechain. Like, that's how bad it was back then. People don't remember that. It's not like it was just, oh, come build a project on Pulsechain. There was half of the group community that was vividly against anybody building anything. You got hate from the core community for building a project on top of Pulsechain. So that's how people need to remember or understand that if they weren't here back then. So now,
which is completely fine. I get where their hate comes from, because they have to have their guard up, because 99.9% of products do fail, and a good portion of them fail due to bad founders. Like, you have to be realistic. I do think you have to spend the time and also like look through all those projects though, and it's very time consuming, and you have to understand there will be that needle in the haystack. There will be there. It will come. I believe PTGC and UFO are both those needles in the haystack. I actually believe PTGC and UFO will be alongside Richard's tickers on this chain for the rest of the existence of Pulsechain. Alongside. We are already getting close to having the same amount of liquidity as his tokens. We are working our way in that direction.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. And like, just it's very similar. Like, obviously back day one was the time to get in, but from now here, Pulsechain is so far suppressed that it's almost similar to getting in at a smaller market cap.
It is. Pulsechain, in my opinion, Pulsechain, or even you could say the entire market, the fact that we didn't have a massive alt season and alt tokens have been going down for like over a year now, that has created an opportunity for anyone to get their bag of PTGC and UFO that opportunity could have easily never been here. Imagine if Pulsechain never came down 90% from sacrifice price. Let's just say Pulsechain was at sacrifice price right now. PTGC could easily be at a $500 million market cap. But Pulsechain is giving you the opportunity to get it at a 40 mil market cap, or for UFO at a 5 mil market cap.
Yep. And going back to the why people back in the day, all the hate started to come because PTGC and UFO were smoking PulseX, and both hexes. Everyone was so fixated that PulseX was going to just come out, and because the buy and burn, all the coins were going to get bought and burnt within a month, and we were going to do 1,000x out the gate. And all of a sudden, the core coins did nothing, and these new projects started to do numbers. So those guys got extremely bitter because it was taking attention away. So for them, their bags get pumped when people are shilling Hex and Pulsechain all day. So now you have people looking at this other stuff. So it got them kind of upset. But now, fast forward 2 years later, when, you know, a lot of the people that kind of went away from PTGC, they came to the PDI and the Atropa and the whole PRC20 narrative, and that shit's dead. Like PDI is I think was the best orchestrated scam on Pulsechain, and the stuff with the PRAP Bitcoin where there's over $1 million worth being held by a bad actor. So if you're out here talking, showing that coin, you're giving a known scammer exit liquidity. So that whole narrative is dead now moving forward. So all those people that went over there and left, they're going to come back into PTGC because it was the one all along, and people are going to realize that.
Yeah, the hard thing about like a lot of those narratives, and I tend to not even weigh in of what's true or what's not, because I just don't know. And I think that's the problem, is it just a lot of people don't know. And that's why PTGC and UFO stand out to me as being so powerful, is a lot of people put a lot of money in things that there's no control over, right? Like the PDI narrative or Atropa narrative, or even RH's tokens in general. They're just constantly hoping that Richard is going to peg PDI, or Richard is going to pump Hex, or Richard is going to pump Pulsechain or PulseX. And that's what's unique about PTGC, is we actually don't need Richard to do anything. We can actually be very, very successful with the decentralized code that's built in front of us and the large community that's here grinding. And if any of those things do come true, if the PDI narrative, P-copy narrative does come true, let's say it's just this big psyop thing of tricking people like a lot of people think is happening, PTGC wins. Let's say Richard comes in and does pump Hex or does pump PulseX, or, you know, just pushes up the price of Pulsechain, or new products come out on Pulsechain. For example, PROVEX. We have sacrificed for PROVEX via PTGC. We will have that liquidity. So if Richard comes in and helps Pulsechain, PTGC wins, right? The fact that we've been able to get PTGC to the market caps that we've been able to get it to, with Pulsechain literally cheaper than the day PTGC launched, is powerful. So I think what stands out about PTGC and UFO is the speculative narrative of someone doing something for you and that changing your life is less there with PTGC, and it's more about decentralized code doing it for you, and then the community that's very transparent about working it. It puts the ball in your court. You know, like a lot of times you hear people complaining like, I'm not getting paid enough at this job, I'm pissed. And it's like, well, that's because the ball isn't in your court. The best thing that you could do is go work for yourself, or go start hunting down that better job that you do have more control over your growth. Because if you have control over your growth, you can win the game on your own. And that's what's really unique about PTGC, is this community is okay with Richard not being in the game right now, because we believe our skill sets are enough to win the game without him. But if he comes in mid-game and becomes MVP, awesome. We win by that much more.
Yep. So that's such a good point, because that is the problem right now with now that he's killed the Hex staking yield, he's killed the ink rewards for the farms. There's really, like, people are now expecting him to do something in return, because he's taken away so much. He's got to come and do something more for us. And that's not the attitude. His message is always pump your own bags, go do something, go make a tweet. Stop just bitching about me. Go do something. So this whole attitude of Richard, come save us, Richard, pump our bags, it's so toxic. It stops people from getting out there and grinding and posting on Twitter all the time and talking to people about Pulsechain and wearing Pulsechain hats. Even though every stream I do, even if it's Cubic or XRP, I always wear the Pulsechain hats. It matters. People see that. Every time I go out in public, I always wear a Pulsechain or Hex hat. So there's
Sweet.
little things you can do to pump your own bags. And with PTGC and UFO, it's exactly what you said. The ball's in our own court. Like, there's so much already going that if Richard comes back, and that's great for us. If PROVEX does well, that's great for us. If PDI and P-Rat Bitcoin come back, which they will, because Sami's $500,000 deep, balls deep into it. He's out there praying it comes back. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to come back and pump, but that money is going to go to bad actors. They're going to be extracting immediately. So I'm not supporting that shit anymore. So for me, it's a no-go. And I think that there's going to be a huge shift in that mentality towards the cores, the blue chips. And that's right where PTGC and UFO are.
Yeah, we've tried to position ourselves in a unique way to where whatever the outcome is for Pulsechain, whatever curveballs or unique situations come out, we win in any direction it goes, right? We want to set ourselves up to be able to adapt with any curveballs thrown at us, any direction markets move. If markets move heavy to RH cores, if markets move heavy to P copies, if markets move heavy to RH memes, like, it really doesn't matter. We have connections with all of them, and we generate revenue off of all of them too. So we are very much trying to set ourselves for success, whatever is thrown at us. And to rewind a little bit, what you were talking about with the APY cuts on Ink or the APY cuts on Hex, I actually think that wasn't a bad thing. I know it hurts for people who are depending on that APY, but the problem, and this is one thing I think that stands out very powerful with PTGC's design from the beginning, is all the APY of PTGC gets paid out through value generation. So you will not be getting an APY unless that value gets generated and it gets paid to you. Well, one thing that was with Hex or with Ink is the APY that's getting paid out isn't through value generation, it's through inflation. And everything in cryptocurrency is very, very fractionalized as far as the liquidity pools. So if you have a 5% increase of supply, but you only have 5% liquidity to market cap ratio, well, what you just printed in that year very much takes out a lot of that liquidity because you just increased the supply by that 5%, and everything in cryptocurrency is so fractionalized. So that's what's super unique about PTGC's APY. And again, it can't even be turned off or manipulated or anything like that. It's decentralized, renounced code. But every APY isn't paid out through inflation. It's paid out through value generation. And that's very, very sustainable. It does make it to where the APY fluctuates a little bit. Some months might be less, some months might be more, but it is justified APY.
Yep.
Sorry, got a call. The APY would not be paid to you unless it's backed by more value going into the liquidity web. So every time we generate revenue, every time, let's say we generate $100,000, $40,000 of that $100,000 goes to APY. $60,000, so 60% of that goes to backing the value of the asset, if that's through buy and burns or if that's through LP ads. So we're constantly making sure that every time we pay out an APY, we're backing the protocol's price with more value to support that APY. Because if you don't support the APY that's paid out, the only place that APY can come from is the price chart. So I personally think Richard cutting those inflations was necessary because the inflation was hurting the price chart.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro, 100%. I'm not saying it wasn't necessary. Just the fact that he did it and people took it as you took money out of my pocket and now you better replace it. That's just like the attitude that I saw from people.
That's been the attitude with Pulsechain even before that inflation cut. Everyone has been expecting for Richard to pump their bags for them since the day Pulsechain went live. Because everyone sacrificed. When you put money into something, you're expecting something out in return. And the hard thing is when you expect it out of an individual who straight says, like, don't expect me to do anything, it's very contradictory. It's a very big contradiction. Where PTGC, you can't expect anything out of me, or you can't expect anything out of Banana. We don't have your funds or anything. But what you can expect something out of is the decentralized code. right? You can actually trust that that code is not going to change and it's going to just keep doing what it's been doing. And it's powerful. You know, all the values in the liquidity web, and that liquidity web generates us revenue every single day. And we get to use that revenue to put it towards all the things that matter. Buy and burns, LP ads, APY for our holders. And in my opinion, this is what everyone is looking for in a product. PTGC and UFO, it's got the ability to do hundreds of X's. It's got the ability to evolve from speculative to store of value. It's got built-in APY. It's deflationary. It's got reward systems for onboarding. It's got everything everyone is looking for. Just no one knows it exists yet.
And I'm right there with you, Vibron. Depending on our age, to pump our bags, it's not right. So what's unique about, and he could, I would love it if he did, but we shouldn't count on it, right? We shouldn't sit back and just relax and think, oh, he's going to take care of it all. No, man. Like everything within our environment is our responsibility to take charge of and make sure it happens. Well, PTGC.
Uh-oh. Looks like the Prairie Banana, he just he's wrecked. He is gone. Hey, you still there, Hayden?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Banana.
Up there he is. He's back.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. What I was saying is that, like, I almost think sometimes that Pulsechain was built for PTGC. I mean, we literally don't even need users to come into PTGC. We want everybody to come get exposure to these assets. Why? It helps our price chart, and these people get exposure to what we think is going to be a very, very highly valuable asset in due time. But we technically don't need users. Why? Because of the AMM bots that are constantly arbitraging across all the LP pairs, paying us yield anyhow, reducing the supply. So we technically don't need users, but yeah, get you a bag of PTGC anyhow. We don't need Richard Hart to pump his chain. We don't need Pulsechain to necessarily perform. It would be wonderful because then again, it would be reflected in the price chart. But it's clear that we don't technically need Pulsechain because look at the chart. We have, in the last 4 to 6 weeks made an impact on the chart. How? It wasn't Pulsechain. It was our community buying up the tokens and telling their friends and family about this asset that could potentially change the course of their financial lives. And it was reflected in the price chart.
Yeah, Private, your share screen crashed, so I don't know if you want to
yeah, I'd like to pull that back up.
it. Yeah, but yeah, even UFO, I mean, that UFO is looking like it wants to start ripping against Pulsechain.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we could come down and whoop.
I've been calling PTGC is the tip of the spear, UFO is the shaft, but you can hardly have one without the other. And I wouldn't underestimate UFO.
No, not at all. People are definitely sleeping on it.
But yeah, UFO, I think is completely being overlooked right now. The market cap to liquidity ratio is almost 50%. So it's roughly a 5 million market cap token and that's $2.5 million of liquidity. And we've seen that liquidity when Pulsechain wakes up, that liquidity starts to wake up. That liquidity can revalue very quickly to $25 million. It's been there in the past. It generates revenue. UFO has woken up in the past with that liquidity, doing tons of buy and burns, tons of APY. Currently sitting a little low, but I think that, again, is opportunity. And you can get a very large bag of UFO for very, very cheap right now because of Pulsechain. It's like still on a 95% dip from its all-time high.
Yeah, no, exactly, bro. Now's the time to take a look at it. And what I love too is people that are newer when they come in and they go to PulseX and they go to buy PTGC or UFO, it's always a nightmare with trying to set the slippage and crank, put it to 6% sometimes. But when I send everyone to switch.win, it's automatically, the taxes are built in. It automatically detects it. So when people go to buy it, unless they're looking really closely at the bottom, they just go buy Pulsechain and buy PTGC, and you just approve it and you buy it. You don't have to go adjust the slippage. So like that mental, like whatever it is of, oh man, I don't want to eat this 5%. It feels so much better on switch.win because you're not actually changing it. You're just going and buying it. So I've noticed people are much happier buying it through switch.win when they're not manually having to type in 6% up there. And then you forget and you don't change it back. So the next 10 swaps or 20 swaps you do, you're paying 6% slippage.
Have you seen our new D app, goptgc.com?
Yes.
We have the slippage built right in for both PTDC and UFO.
Awesome. Yep. It's so big because it for some reason, even though it's 5%, it's not much. I know some people look at that and they're like, yeah, I don't know. And they take a pass on it.
Oh, because of the fee or the slippage?
Yeah, because if you want to, some people that are coming in with, 6 figures, they don't want to automatically lose $6,000-$7,000, potentially more on a transaction right off the rip is when they're new. But when you come on to switch and you buy it there, it doesn't automatically register with you right away. So newer people are going to be more prone to buy it. And even with on your site, that's just from my experience, what I've seen.
Yeah, there is people out there that obviously get detoured from the fee. I do think with some education, they realize that the 5-6% fee is rather small for being exposed to the price appreciation, the APY, and the deflation of PTGC. It does cost to get into good products sometimes. And this is our fee, and that fee obviously gets used for the sustainability of the system. And you're right, it does deter some people, but once they get over it, it does, and they recognize where that value's actually going. Because I feel like in the past, or with most other fee on transaction tokens, the value isn't actually going to the places that matter. So you feel like you're just throwing that value down the drain. But specifically with PTGC and UFO, that value is going to all the things that make this a good sustainable product. And then also knowing it's not just you that's paying the fee, it's more importantly getting paid by the bots, and that those bots are having to pay it as well and add value to the buy and burn LP ads and pay you APY for being exposed to the system.
Yep, and that's why, like, without not buying it on PulseX, when new people they see PTGC, they see the charts pumping, and they want to go FOMO in. When you buy it and you pay the 5% tax, and you realize it after, and you're like, oh shit, what was that? You go do research to see where it goes. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's going here. It's going to liquidity. It's going to other whole. Okay, I can live with that. So I think it works out much better.
Yeah, and I think Banana, you tracked your wallet throughout the last year, and you earned 5% back in token quantities in the last year. So if you're in the system for a year, you can actually earn that back, not only with price appreciation and stuff like that, but also in your quantity of tokens you're getting dripped through APY.
And that's not just me. My wallet is just an example of everybody else, but I hadn't even made that correlation. I literally earned back all of the 5% that it cost me to buy the PTDC just in the last year. And I actually bought the stuff 2 years ago.
And that's the problem. Yeah. And that's because the volume on Pulsechain is probably extremely low, but when volume picks up across the chain, I'll bet you that time would drop.
Yeah, or at least price appreciation comes with it, right? Like what we've found is the volume is very much correlated to price. So price increases, volume increases, but then the quantity of tokens that you're receiving isn't as increasing as massively as you might think, but what is increasing is the dollar value that you're receiving in APY. So the quantity of tokens that you are receiving at highs or lows have actually stayed very similar, because when price goes lower, you're getting higher quantities of tokens. So you need less volume to get those quantity of tokens. And then when price rises, you might be receiving those same quantity of tokens, but the tokens are priced way higher. You know what I mean? And that's what equals those higher APYs. But yeah, I do think it's an interesting way to look at it. As long as we stay in these ranges of volume compared to price, you actually get to make back that fee in 1 year roughly, if you stay in the system that long. And then once you pass that, everything else is in the positive: price appreciation, APY, etc.
Been having some conversations with people that are against that don't care for the fee. You know, they don't care for the fee and they're suspicious about where it goes, you know, like they think it goes to the founder or some secret wallets, you know, for people just to pay people behind the screen. I'm like, nuh-uh. There is none of that over here. And we can see that. We can see exactly where all of the transaction volume goes. Like in the last, let's just put this on the 1X. So in the last, let's put this on a week, $539,000 of daily transaction volume, which generated in the last week $26,958 from the 5% fee. And here is exactly where it was distributed: to the DAO, holder rewards, burning tokens, staking rewards, I'm a staker, and liquidity ads, to the penny, where that total fee is just distributed to.
That's great. That's a good tool. I'm gonna just take a screenshot of that, and just like, if you're curious where the fees are going, your 5% is actually supporting the ecosystem.
Hop over to the year real quick, Banana. I think this is cool to highlight because it shows what PTGC has generated in the last year. It's very much a value generation system. And
in
keep in mind,
was a train wreck.
And yes, exactly. Keep in mind, the last year has been a complete downtrend, low volume. Alt tokens pretty much have been tanking for the last year. We're on a 95% dip this year, and we still were able to generate $2.5 million just in PTGC. This doesn't even include UFO. And again, that $2.5 million have been used to increase the value of the system. Well, what happens if you think the prices are undervalued right now? Let's say you believe Pulsechain should be at sacrifice price. You can go over to this bottom X bar and hit 10X real quick, Banana. And you can see, okay, well, if we just increased our volume by 10X because of Pulsechain or us being a little higher, you can see how rapidly our value generation gets to increase. And then also how all those categories increase as well. So now we are increasing our buy and burn, we're increasing LP ads, and we're also increasing APY and DAO funds.
How about $10 million sent to the DAO over the course of a year for whatever it wants? And it's always gonna add LP, burn tokens, or do some sort of marketing campaign like it is doing recently with the reward system, incentivizing PTGC holders or non-holders to shield PTGC with a referral link and earn PTGC. Well, that money comes from that future $10 million. That's a lot of cheese, man. Imagine what impact PTGC could have by taking 10% of that and doing an IRL, some sort of marketing campaign, maybe like a digital marketing. Wow.
Or go to ETH, then go to one of the ETH conferences and have a huge Gray's currency booth there or something like that. That would be an awesome idea.
That's a great idea. And that'd be very inexpensive too, relative to $10 million.
That's what I mean. You could probably get away with that for 50,000 if you got a nice big booth there with all expenses and everything. I bet you the community would vote in the DAO if someone put that proposal up there to save, figure out how much it is and take a certain portion and use it for that.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, I think that's what highlights, how powerful the DAO is anything is possible. In a decentralized way, we are able to constantly pivot with the market, with what's coming in future events, with bull markets, bear markets, with trending tokens, with good volume tokens, and we're able to adapt multi-cycle. That's a hard part about having decentralized code for a lot of other projects, is they can't adapt with every single cycle, and every single cycle is changing. You know what I mean? Look at how this cycle is changing right now compared to previous cycles. Most tokens can't adapt, most tokens can't evolve. This gives us a decentralized way to evolve every single year with what's evolving around us.
There's almost more liquidity in the grays than in Hex.
Yeah, I think PTGC is very close to rivaling Hex's liquidity.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, we will continue to add to liquidity with every single transaction for the rest of the existence of Pulsechain. So Vitalik even talks about a lot of times that he's built Ethereum, and Ethereum has been structured to last longer than Vitalik himself. This is his legacy. This is what he wants. And we're a fork of that. You know what I mean? So you have to assume, as long as our community stays relevant and everything just doesn't die and burn away, Pulsechain will be around as long as that as well. PTGC will continually keep adding to that liquidity and buying and burning itself for the rest of the existence of Pulsechain. We are now building so much liquidity that even if the community dried up, it wouldn't stop, because the liquidity pairs would just keep fluctuating, and then arbitrage bots would keep buying, and it would just keep adding forever. And that's, I think, really powerful to think about long term. I think that's the reason why PTGC and UFO will be one of the only grassroots projects to make it into the top 50 cryptocurrencies that exist. Very much all the cryptocurrencies in the top 50 are VC backed or cabal funded in a way. Some of them have made it from grassroots, a very small group. I do think PTGC is going to be one of the only grassroots projects to make it up there and sustain and be up there forever.
Yep. I completely agree, bro. That's at some point though, I wonder, could that be could you ever have too much liquidity? Where even if everyone sold, there'd be money stuck in there.
So that's one benefit of being on a very illiquid chain, is we don't have to compromise our own liquidity for quick pumping, because the chain we are built on is actually kind of illiquid already. So we can very much focus on building up liquidity, and knowing that the multiplier we get from this illiquid chain, this chain could literally pump 100x. That's 100x multiplier to any growth that we do in the meantime. So if we just did a 10x, that's 1,000x from these levels, right? And even after we do 1,000x, what we're bonded to is most likely going to still stay somewhat volatile compared to Ethereum and a Bitcoin. So I don't think the volatility aspect, even with us putting such a heavy focus on this forever, is actually going to disappear. I think we'll always have that volatility. I do want it to slow down, because we do want to evolve from a speculative token to a store of value system, where the downtrends aren't necessarily as much. And then in turn, our uptrends as we grow will probably not be as much also, right? That's where there's a lot of opportunity right now, is you still have the potential to pull off 100 to 1,000x in one cycle with where prices are today. But after we get through that 100 and 1,000x, everyone needs to understand those easy X's are gone. You know what I mean? You're now sitting at a $10 billion market cap token, and more what you can count on is like kind of like the gains that you get out of Ethereum or Bitcoin is, 10x moves in a cycle, but your retracements won't be as much. You'll be getting scarcer every single day, more LP every single day, and APY every single day as well. So that's why I really want to push hard with where the opportunity is today. It's the same opportunity people had with buying ETH or Bitcoin early. They got the opportunity of holding a speculative token that went up 1,000x, but now they're holding one of the best store of value systems that exists on the earth, right? Yes, they're not going to do another 1,000x in a matter of 5 years. This is obvious, but they are holding a sustainable asset with tons of liquidity, with tons of demand, and it's one of the best store of values that exists on earth today. But they got to ride it up the 1,000x. So they got to turn $10,000 into $10 million.
And we will, it just takes time. You need to be in crypto for multiple cycles. Like, obviously, unless you came in and, you got in super early. And I gave away 10 times more tokens than I hold right now to friends, because I had so many tokens early on that if I tried to even sell any of them, I would have just destroyed the chart. So I was sending 100 million to friends left and right.
Whoa.
And now it's like,
Dolphins,
I never could have imagined that this project was going to go where it went, because I was newer. I was 3 years in back then, and I was still, I was doing research so much. So just talking to founders, it was not really a thing when I first got into crypto. It was hard to do. They were like on a pedestal. And then Pulsechain came along, you start meeting founders, they're building stuff. I never could have imagined that these projects that my new friends are building are going to grow to become $400-500 million assets.
And that's nothing compared to where we think we're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, that's what I believe. Like, for a project to truly be successful, you need to beat out your old all-time highs. I look at that 480, 500 mil market cap as last cycle's all-time high. We need to blow that out of the water this cycle. Where we're sitting right now is a 4D million market cap. So we already need to pull off the 10x in front of us. But then after that 10x, what do we need to do after that? I'm hoping another 10x, or if not more. You know what I mean? Because that's true success. You want to be able to put everyone that got in the previous cycle into a good amount of profits in the next cycle. Or really, you just trapped a bunch of people.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is.
So
PTGC too is also like, honestly, if Pulsechain, if PROVEX comes out and it sucks and people start leaving Pulsechain, PTGC is going to become Pulsechain.
A lot of people have left Vibra. Like I know you're in a lot of other tokens too. This is all I live and breathe is pretty much Pulsechain. 90% of the top 100 sacrificers have already sold.
No way.
Yes.
Awesome.
Pulsechain Stats brought that up a couple weeks ago. 90% of the top 100 sacrificers have already sold. Distribution over the last 3 years has taken place. Also with PTGC, distribution for the last 2.5 years has taken place. These tokens are very, very well distributed. I think we've made it through the large amount of the distribution phase. I think we still maybe have a little bit of bear market in front of us, but we've put a lot of the hard work behind us. And I do think we're going to get into some price appreciation phases for Pulsechain here. The distribution has gotten a lot better. I think it was something that needed to happen. Obviously, look at where we are in price action. But users who are getting onboarded to Pulsechain now, users who are getting onboarded to PTGC and UFO now, have a crazy opportunity in front of them. Not only because they're scooping up bottom dollar prices, but their time frame is so short. So their experience on this chain, I believe, is going to be amazing. Imagine getting into a blockchain or getting into like PTGC and UFO, and within months, you're up 4x, 5x, 6x, 10x, 20x. your experience will be amazing, right? And then what do you do when you have an amazing experience? You tell people about that amazing experience. It's just like if you bought a car from a dealership and they treated you great and you got a great price and you got a great product. Like then you tell your mom, your sister, your brother, your friend, hey, I bought this car from here. Experience was great, great car, great price, great service. Boom, community grows, business grows. And I think that's what's coming for PTGC and UFO.
I don't know if you saw this post on the TheGray369, Zen's Twitter. I think it was yesterday, Zen. You posted, I think it was a repost from Trevor, because he posted about the league positions for the core assets, and I was shocked, man. Like this is
another highlight.
Sure. Here's pulse holders, 55 sharks, Hex, 59 sharks, PulseX, 70 sharks, Inc, 90 sharks. Let's see if it'll show. PTGC, 103 sharks. UFO, 92 sharks.
Wow. Dude, and that hey, going back to what you were talking about with 90% of the top sacrificers gone. That I think the problem with Pulsechain and PulseX versus the original Hex sacrifice is I don't think Richard expected that much money to come in, because the same sort of thing happened, but at a lower scale when we went from the adoption amplifier to big payday. When we had the collapse after big payday of like 99%. So I don't know the stats, but I would imagine something similar, like 90% of people thought it was a scam, it was dead, and it's over, and they left. So Richard's motto of what he did with Hex and how he got it to pump 10,000x, he could never do that with the amount of people that were in Pulse and PulseX. And now with that many people gone, and once the money is in the right hand, I don't think he was ever comfortable pumping the chain when you have all these extractors and these scumbags that are the faces of the chain. Like, he knows what's going on. Like, he does not want to enrich anyone that doesn't deserve it. He's the most petty person in the world, the cheapest person in the world. So for him to enrich some asshole, that makes his blood boil. So I think
it's, it's a thing of you take in value, and obviously you took in value. There's no expectations from it, but every user has an expectations from the value they spent, right? And they receive tokens in a form with expectations. So they get those tokens into their wallet and they expect something out of those tokens, at least what they put in. And naturally, what happens if you don't take the value that you took in and put it initially into the product, some of the value I've seen has came from sacrifice into Pulsechain pumping price, but a very small amount of it. So what has to happen is, where does that value come from then? The value comes from the price, because not every user can hang on for 4+ years. And that's what we've been seeing, and that's why the price is here. But there is users that can hang on. There is users that believe in these products long term. Distribution is happening. I wouldn't even be surprised if Richard is scooping up tokens, like our DAO is scooping up tokens. PTGC DAO looks at these cheap prices as an opportunity. I think we've spent probably in the last year hundreds of thousands, if not $500,000 from the DAO just buying up PTGC. I wouldn't be surprised if Richard's just doing that on his own with his own funds. I hope he is. So when you look at where the supply exists today, I bet you even a lot of those sharks are Richard wallets. You know what I mean? And it is going to be, I think, a game of the patient. I don't think the X's are going to be as massive as a lot of people thought, but that's where the opportunity is onboarding people at these prices, or DCAing at these prices. Because if we just go up 10x of SAC price, yes, 10x of SAC price at one time was considered a failure. People thought if it only 10x SAC price, that wasn't enough. Well, from here, that's a 100x. And if you're in PTGC and PTGC keeps doing what it's doing, that could be 1,000x. 1,000x if you onboard someone at this level or you DC at this level and you're actually able to hold on for 1,000x. That is life changing, especially if that 1,000x is sustainable and you get APY and we have the liquidity to back it and we keep growing off of that 1,000x. And I think that's where the opportunity lies right now.
I got a great idea. So I'm not good with photoshopping, but we should go find like one of Richard's known wallets and then go to like the latest transactions and just edit in a huge buy of PTGC and just be like Richard Hart's buying PTGC, just blast it on Twitter and all the idiots will freak out and go nuts. I'm gonna do that.
So Vibra, I don't know if you've had time to look at the 2 new sites we've put out in the last couple months. I've been working on one recently called Go PTGC, which has this new referral system that I wanted to kind of run through with you. Just one, because you are obviously someone who makes content and also someone who's made content for PTGC in the past. And I want to just explain to you this new system. And it's not only for you, but for your audience as well. Anyone can use it who wants to grind for PTGC, and you get paid directly for your efforts or your successful efforts, let's say. And then also we have a new PTGC-UFO.com dashboard, completely community built and completely free to create scenarios, to create a portfolio. And I wanted to run through that real quick with you as well, if you got a little bit more time.
Yeah, I actually set it up. I have my link down in the description. I did it a couple days ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Sweet.
but yeah, if you want to talk about it in a little bit here, or
do you want to drop your referral link in the chat so people can have access to it?
Yeah, it's in the description right below in the stream.
Oh, okay. So guys,
I can grab it real quick.
Click on Vibra's referral link. It'll bring you straight to goptgc.com, the onboarding page, and then buy PTGC with his referral link. It's an easy way to tip your content provider, content creator, your friend, influencer, however you want to put it. And it doesn't, and you won't be paying anything out of the money that comes from it just comes out of the transaction. It's a pretty sweet system. It's 2% of that comes out of the transaction that would normally go to the DAO would be rerouted to Mr. Vibra Finance. So use his link to buy PTGC. It'll bring you straight to the DAO.
If you don't mind, real quick, let me kind of explain it a different way. How we've created this system is the rewards for the people actively onboarding get paid out by the DAO. So anyone you onboard through this system, they're getting the exact same price as buying from PulseX or buying from Switch. But it does make it easier. We have the slippage already set and everything, but you're getting no worse deal. But what you are helping out is the person who onboarded you. So if that's, you just trying to tip them, or if you're thankful that they are helping you get in, this is a way that we can actually reward the people who are actively onboarding in the PTGC system. Very similar to a lot of IRL businesses. You have people actively doing sales and stuff like that in an IRL business. Well, they're compensated for their time. No one works for free. So in cryptocurrency, this is very much missing. There's plenty of tokens out there that have kind of done something similar to this with inflation. So you're getting a portion of inflation for a select amount of time. What we've designed is still no inflation. This all gets paid out of the circulating supply. So when we pay out Vibra or when we pay out Banana, we actually have to buy those tokens off the chart and then pay them out with the value that we have in the DAO. It's very, very sustainable because every single time someone does a buy, we earn value in the DAO. So we've been very strategic with this method, but this does give us a way that we can actually directly reward anyone who wants to be an active onboarder into PTGC. In crypto, usually anyone onboarding, it doesn't directly benefit them. It benefits the whole entire community equally. just from price appreciation based on the size of your bag, or in PTGC and UFO, you also get reflections and rewards. But now with this new system, you are directly benefited through your efforts. You get 2% of any buy that happens through your code. So if Vibra brought in, let's say, $100,000 throughout the month in PTGC tokens, he would receive $2,000 of PTGC tokens at the end of the month paid to his wallet automatically. I think it's very unique. I don't think it's being really recognized right now, but when things start cooking, I think this will be massive for PTGC. It gives us a way to reward the active onboarders to our protocol in a very fair and decentralized and automated way.
I want to address Wesley's.
Exactly, because this was a great response. The tax is an important part of sustaining the protocol.
But there's more. There's more. I mean, Wesley, are you here for 5% gains or X's? You know, I'll give up 5% to make 100X or 10X or whatever. 5%.
And if you're going to be holding it for a year, like you said, you're going to get a good chunk of that back. So
yeah. And you know, just for an example, there's people that got onboarded through this reward system like a month ago. This system's been out for roughly a month on the dot. They were already up 2x on their bag because PTGC did a 2x move in the last month.
Right.
They aren't worried about that 5%, right? Bitcoin has bled since then. Ethereum has bled since then. Stables haven't moved, but their bag has increased 100%. The 5% is minor compared to the amount of X's we plan on doing in the future. And it's a cost to be in the system. When you're in the system, you're exposed to an ever-growing massive liquidity web that gives you diversification when holding one product. So by one, you hold all. And we have been focusing on even adding bunches of liquidity with Ethereum. And we will be putting a higher focus on more legacy LPs in the future as well. Not only RH tokens or P copies and other more volatile assets, but also some more sustainable assets. You are exposed to deflation. So the token supply becomes less and less every single day. I think we've bought and burnt roughly $100,000 in the last few months. And to date, we're at, I think, 13.1% of supply bought and burnt. You're also exposed to built-in APY that no one can turn off. All you have to do is hold, and you can earn 150% more if you stake. So there's a lot of things that you're exposed to with when you get into the PTGC system, which obviously costs you 5%. But when you're exposed to them, they could benefit you graciously in the future. So just kind of pay attention to what you're getting for that cost and where that cost is going. Everyone and everything has to pay that cost to be exposed to this system. Every human and every arbitrage bot.
We had a whale come in. Well, he was a whale in another asset, came into the Grays ecosystem a little over a year ago, and he worked his way up to a very large position in PTDC. And he's one of those guys that's like, he's going to hold one asset, and now he holds two. And he paid the 5% to get in. Can we perhaps address, but I do understand it's 5%, you know, that's kind of a bummer. But if you look at how at the tokenomics and where it goes, and all of that, and begin to understand the purpose behind the 5%, it eases the pain a little bit. Just make sure that you buy PTGC from a wallet that you want to keep it on, so you don't have to move it to another wallet. Because even when you move it, you're going to pay the 5%. But can we help Wesley with the slippage?
Yeah, for sure.
Like making multiple purchases over time, it might be a way to avoid the slippage.
Yeah, the slippage, as far as PTGC and UFO go, you're going to get very minimal slippage because we're one of the most liquid tokens on the entire chain. Like, we're pretty much competing with RH tokens as far as being liquid. And then even at higher prices, I think our combined liquidity between PTGC and UFO was around 40 million. Currently a lot lower because prices of everything have gone down, which obviously creates opportunity. So your main impact isn't going to be the slippage unless you're coming in with a very large amount. Your main impact is going to be that 5%. You can self-refer. So I wanted to bring that up. Some people are making their 5% entry only 3% by self-referring themselves. I tend to say I don't love self-referring personally. I would rather you give that 2% to active onboarders to the community like Vibra or Banana. But if it is something that's a make or break for you, you can create your own referral link and just use your own referral link, and then you only pay 3% to get into PTGC.
Yep.
All of our liquidity on PTGC is V2. V3 liquidity doesn't really work with fee on transaction tokens. So all the liquidity that we have is standard V2 liquidity structure within the PTGC system. So when you look at PTGC's liquidity, I'm not really a big V3 guy. When you look at a lot of V3 liquidity, sometimes that liquidity is not as much there as it appears. It might be very heavy sided on one side. All PTGC's liquidity is V2, so it's 50-50. So when you look at, let's say right now, PTGC and UFO together have $5 million of liquidity. Half of that's PTGC, half of that's the other side of all those other tokens. So that's where all of our liquidity is V2 style liquidity.
I'll probably buy coming next week. Expect price to move slowly. Hell yeah, that would be awesome, man. And I've been here in this community, and I have not met a better founder than Hayden. He is one of the nicest, most genuine people. He still has not sold a penny's worth of any of his coins, and he's here building every single day. Anytime you got questions, the Discord, the Telegram group, people are here to help. You can get a hold of them, and they're just doing everything right, man. It's so good to see, because Pulsechain got so toxic that there needs to be the blue chips, the standards that people need to be held to.
Adam, if I can interject, I think that the link you put in the description is just a link to the onboarding page. I don't think it's actually a referral link, because I clicked on it.
All right, I got oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I saw it should be. Did it not work? Hold on a second. I got to
connect your wallet, and then
yeah, I can't. It's not on this computer. That's the problem. But I swear I had it in the it's down. I copied it from the description. Maybe I put the wrong one down in the stream.
So just so you know, just so you know, Vibra, Banana, where your link will appear, if you could put your mouse on where it would appear, it's not going to be your link at the top. You have to actually create your link, and where Banana's mouse is right now, that's where your personal link will pop up. So you have to copy and paste that to your users.
Okay.
So if you just go to the top and copy and paste what's at the top of your screen, that's not it.
Did you transact with your link? Because it would be on the leaderboard.
No, not yet. I did it 2 days. I'm such an idiot. I actually bought after I made the link and forgot to use it.
Oh, sure.
So, and then I wanted to bring this up too, Viber. It's a pretty cool feature of these links is if anyone ever buys through your link, let's say you're doing a stream and they see it and they're like, hey, I'm going to grab a small bag of PTGC. I buy $100 and then I'm going to start learning about the protocol. The site will forever link that person's purchasing wallet with your link. So whenever they buy again, even if they don't click on your link again, let's say they just search goptgc.com because they're now more familiar with the system, they remember the domain and stuff. they will still always be giving you credits for their purchases, even if they don't use your link again, because the site recognizes that they used your link previously with that wallet. So if they bought only $100, but let's say in the next year they DCA 50K, you would get all those credits, even if they're not clicking your link again.
Gotcha.
Very similar to in real life businesses with a sales rep. If a sales rep gets a new client, that sales rep is usually linked to that new client forever, always getting compensated for when that client purchases.
That's cool. I like that. All right, yeah, it's gonna be a second here. My MetaMask just I've never seen this internal error restore your account. So yeah, I'm gonna have to
maybe while you work through that, Zen, is there anything else on the two sites you want to walk through?
Yeah, 100%. Vibra, you don't need to do any of this now. I completely understand if you don't want to do this stuff live. I wouldn't personally. But if you want, me and Banana can kind of just take charge and go over the new features on both Go PTGC and PTGC-UFO. And me and Banana could probably ramble for 15 minutes just ourselves if you need some time.
yeah, hold on 1 second. All right, there we go.
So I'm going to go through this Go PTGC site. This is the onboarding page. What we tried to do here is not only get our community rewarded for onboarding, but we wanted to also give them the tools to onboard, not only the PTGC, but Pulsechain in general. So we have a bunch of helpful videos built into the site to help walk people through not only the education of PTGC, but how to even get into Pulsechain. You can hop over to the need help getting into PTGC. Banana, I don't know if you can click that for us.
Yep.
Yep. And pretty much what this is a step-by-step walkthrough when you have an IRL onboard, just because this is where our focus is on with PTGC and UFO system, is onboarding people from outside of Pulsechain. Because if you just keep focusing on the Pulsechain users, you're literally just washing the same money around. How we get real growth here is onboarding people from other blockchains and from in real life. So this is a specific tool to make it easier to get people in. It has all the correct links so they don't Google search anything and stuff like that and get themselves drained. And also a video on each step on just to make them feel more comfortable and help walk them through those unique steps. So you can literally click on the how-to or on the video of every single step of getting into Pulsechain. Banana's created us a little video to help the user get in. We also have just videos about PTGC, staking, locking right here. So if there's any portion of PTGC you want some knowledge on or your onboard wants to run through, all these videos are right here. They can learn right from the website. They now don't need to go to YouTube and search through a bunch of videos to get decent ones. Banana's created a bunch of decent ones for us right here on the site. Again, if you want to be an onboarder for PTGC, you can create your link right here from this page as well, and you can earn 2% on anyone you onboard. I think that's very powerful at these lows. Keep in mind what you get paid in is PTGC. So if you onboard someone, let's say for $20,000 at low prices of PTGC, you're going to get higher quantities of tokens. If you onboard someone at higher prices of PTGC of the same dollar amount, you're going to get less quantity of tokens because price has already moved up. So onboarding here at the lows is very important. It's not only better for price, it's better for you as the onboarder because you're getting higher quantities of tokens. It's also better for the person you're onboarding because you're getting them in at better prices as well. So there's three main pros to onboarding at lows. I think we're at those lows now. Lows for the general market could go a little lower, Bitcoin, Ethereum, but dude, we're at the same prices as 5 years ago. These are great prices for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're at 10x to sacrifice for Pulsechain, and we're at 95% dips on PTGC and UFO. Great opportunities, in my opinion. This is the leaderboard. Shows how much users have onboarded in the last 11 days. It will switch to a new month every single month. That's when we do the payouts of the rewards. We have built an automated system that pays everyone out with transaction hashes and everything like that. We'll show you in a second. And it pays out at the end of the month via a vault and a smart contract. This just tracks all that information.
So there's
right now, Banana's winning. He's the #1 onboarder of this month.
Yeah, Adam, somebody that I don't even know who they are. I woke up one morning, came into my computer, and somebody had bought $10,000 worth of PTDC with my referral link. No clue who it was. Earned me like $200 in PTDC like that, and it's now worth like probably $250.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a very pleasant and welcome surprise. So here are the two transactions right here with the date and the time, the amount that they bought, the amount in dollars and in PTDC, and see what I earned. What I earned is 2% of this 51 million PTDC. I earned 2% of that, and it'll be paid to my wallet that I set up with my referral link at the end of March at month turnover. And here isn't this the transaction hash? Oh, here's the transaction right here. There's the transaction hash if I wanted to go look it up. It's all tracked. Every single person that buys PTDC with a referral link, the transaction is going to end up on this site and the other site, ptgc-ufo.com, and you can look at all these transactions. It's all locked up tight.
All right, there it is. I think I got it now in the chat. There should be the right link now.
Okay, cool. Zen, you still with us?
Yeah. So I think that covers us for the onboarding page. What it was also made for is just a great page when you send people your link. They almost don't even know they're on your link, so you don't have to really shove that down their throat that you're making 2%. They're getting the same exact deal, but it's a page that has tons of information and education for them, plus the swap right there on the same page. If you want to go to the homepage real quick, Banana, this was another feature that was new to this new site, is the IPFS.
Is that the staking page then? Or do I just...
No, you have to go there, yeah.
Okay.
So scroll down. So just like Richard has IPFS built into PulseX, we now have PTGC's dApps downloadable to your computer. So you can actually just download all this stuff directly to your desktop. And it's just a lot more secure if you want to take that step further. I personally think that step was super cool for the PTGC ecosystem, now that our community can just download this stuff straight to their desktop. We have a new stats page with this website. We have new PTGC staking pages, locking pages, and LP providing pages. Very similar to the old ones, just new look pretty much. We have our new branding, our new logos. One cool thing about these new sites is we have the calculators. So you can actually create simulations of what volume could be like in the future. You can type in quantities of tokens and see how much APY you could be receiving and stuff like that in the future as well. Just helps you plan for your future. I actually like the community built website better for this. It's got a lot more features. It's a lot easier to use, but it's in both places if anyone wants to use it.
Good
So
stuff.
that's pretty much everything with the Go PTGC site. If you want to hop over to ptgc-ufo.com real quick, Banana.
Okay,
so this is the new community site. I love it. There's no connecting involved. So when you go to this, it's completely free. You don't connect your wallets or anything. Literally, it's just all for viewing and kind of punching in addresses and stuff.
Here's where you'll land when you type in the URL. Then you just got to select one of the tokens. So we'll select PTGC. I'm populating a playlist on my channel, the Prairie Banana on YouTube, that walks through a lot of the different sections of this website. I've got 2 videos up on it so far. So this is the PTDC, and this is the PTDC dashboard, and there's just so much information on here. We literally added 16 new wallets in the last 24 hours. Then I don't know if you noticed that, but that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, hit that little info icon on the top right corner there. He just updated this yesterday. This Shaka does like updates every single week with this website, just getting better and better and better. The new referral system's been out for only a month, and you can see in the last month we've picked up, I think I'm having a hard time seeing just because I'm on my phone.
284 new holders.
Yeah, so we've picked up 284 new holders in the last month. And consider the environment of Pulsechain. A lot of those holders are in real life people. We have a heavy focus on in real life people with this ecosystem because we believe when the green candles start to come, this is what's going to separate us from every other cryptocurrency. Most cryptocurrencies are made up of cryptocurrency natives, people just trading between assets, rotating funds, washing back and forth between memes. What makes PTGC different is a large majority of our holders are no coiners, people who just are getting involved in cryptocurrency. Why? Because what we've found, these people are the strongest holders. And when things go green, these people have the connections to more in real life people. They're willing to tell a friend. They are willing to tell a buddy. They are willing to tell a coworker. This is how our community is going to thrive this next bull cycle.
Then up at the top, you have the PLS ratio. Of course, the price changed in the last 24 hours. The pulse ratio, X's to all-time high. We're only 9.4X away from our previous all-time high. 71 X's to a penny. And I think we're going to see a penny. I think we're going to see a penny. Hopefully, probably more. Then you can buy. Like if you click right here, it brings you straight to go ptgc.com and you can buy PTGC. Then you can switch over to UFO by clicking here. And those are other, main sections of the site. You get your market cap, volume, liquidity. Look at that, $3.5 million in total liquidity. Liquidity to market cap ratio, 8.6%. You know what UFOs is? 40 plus.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I'll show you, man. Look.
Wow.
45% liquidity to market cap ratio on UFO. And then, of course, you have the holders, tokens in LP, 12.35 billion PLS. I mean, I'm not PLS, PTGC tokens in LP.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that real quick. One thing a lot of people don't understand with PTGC is even those prices are so cheap right now, there's not a lot of tokens out there for the rest of the world. And it's not because we've thinned out the liquidity and pulled liquidity and all that stuff. We are focusing on adding liquidity every single day. Every single transaction adds to this liquidity, but it's a very, very scarce token. Only 3%, 3.5% of supply is even on the market for the rest of the world. That's only 300 dolphin positions for the rest of the world. No one even knows about Pulsechain, let alone PTGC yet. I do believe they're going to find out about it in the future. And it is so scarce. The scarcity is going to drive the price up so high, along with the fact that we have mechanical features and new incentive features to add demand. If you can control supply and demand, you can control price. And that's what we're really focusing on with this ecosystem.
And then you got the total supply burned, all the different token positions. Right here, we have 3 whales. One side on which the dead address, he will never sell another token. All the tokens in there will never be recovered. We got, this is not true. This is the amount of tokens that are burned. One side on, 3 whales, 1 shark, and so on. And then the amount of leagues that have been burned in the last 24 hours, we burned 7 turtle positions in PTGC, reducing that supply. One dolphin in the last week, and so on. We're 12% on our way to burning the next whale position. Then here's our token allocation. The amount of tokens that have been burned, 13.13% in LP, staked, locked, held, all that. And here's the league positions. So we have 1 side on, which is the dead address. 14 whales, 103 sharks. Here's the value generation. And
Can you open that leagues real quick for me, Banana?
You bet.
If anyone wants to see how much a position costs, you can open that up. And right now, you could become a whale for a lot. I'm not saying a whale is cheap. It's like $470,000, but a shark is currently 47,000 and a dolphin is 4,700. The reason these positions are so cheap is because Pulsechain is giving you the opportunity. Pulsechain is 10x below sacrifice price. If Pulsechain was simply just at sacrifice price and we had no growth more than we do now, I think we'd have way more growth. These positions would be 10x more. I look at what Pulsechain is giving people on chain right now. An opportunity, if you're here, if you're paying attention, is an extreme discount on these positions that will not be here forever.
Those dolphin positions were over 30 grand 10x from here, which was the February before this last February. 30 grand for a dolphin position. You can pick it up for 5 right now. And then there's the value generated, and you can see the value generated in tokens or USD. You can go all the way out to 90 days. And then the Dow Treasury. There's information on the Dow. Like you can go and see some of the inner transactions of the Dow, like by clicking on the ledger. You can see the amount of pulse available for new proposals, pending live proposals, Dow funds ready for deployment, $81,000. Total Dow value,
which is a combination of pulse and stables. We have kind of diversification there. So again, we talked about how we've set ourselves up to where we can win in any direction markets go, any environment we're in. If markets go down, we got stables to capitalize. If markets go up, it's go time for our ecosystem. We thrive greatly, right? So we get the benefit either way the market goes. We don't have to pray in one direction. Either direction goes, we win. We have stables, we got pulse. It don't matter.
So just like any good investor holds stables on the side, our Dow holds stables on the side. And if you're a staker in PTGC, you're part of the Dow. So you effectively hold stables on the side. And then here down here is all of our LP pairs. And you can just select, you can highlight the core tokens by clicking that, and that breaks out just the core tokens. Then you can sort by ratio, volume, liquidity, 24-hour change. You can see some of the inner value of these tokens by clicking on the eye. And these icons over here bring you over to DEX Tools and DEX Screener. What else, then?
I'd like to hit the portfolio section real quick. So this is a pretty cool thing. You can build your own PTGC and UFO portfolio. This doesn't require you connecting your wallet or anything. You can just copy and paste your addresses in here, and you can name them, and you can actually create a portfolio of all of your wallets. What it's going to show you is the quantity of tokens you own, what they're worth, the amount of rewards you've received since Genesis in all categories, and the pending rewards you have. So you don't need to go into your wallet to see what you have pending or what you've earned. You can literally just put in addresses here and see all the information. Same goes for UFO. You can see everything that you've earned, what your value is currently worth, and also what's pending in PLS rewards if you're a farmer. And then you can also see what those tokens would be worth at higher values by hitting that moon math button at the top real quick. But you can put all your wallets in here. You can, and then if you have some that are short-term, long-term, you can uncheck and check boxes without deleting them. So it really helps you create a portfolio of your investment, right? Being able to track it without having to open up your crypto computers or connecting your ledgers and all that kind of stuff. It just helps with security, with being able to manage. If you set up your portfolio correctly, you can hop over to the calculators page.
Okay, 1 second. I got to go back. And this portfolio is a 1 million PTGC portfolio that I set up on a test wallet. So
if you set up your portfolio correctly, you can utilize this calculator page in a unique way. You don't need to set it up. You can just type in numbers if you know what quantities you hold and stuff like that, or what quantities you want to hold. But if you do set up the portfolio correctly, there's a load your portfolio section. For some reason, the screen's like blacked out on my end.
It's same here.
Maybe try to refresh it or something.
So it's blanked out on your phone also, or I think it's just my screen.
No, I see it blanked out on your screen. It looks like it's like having trouble loading or something.
Yep. Yeah. My internet guy has been working on the internet the last couple of days.
Well, where I was getting at is there's 4 calculators in here. A calculator where you can check reward simulations, price simulations with Richard's tickers pumping. So you can create simulations of, oh, I think $10 million comes into Pulsechain, or I think Pulsechain does 10x. Or you can create simulations of volume and see what kind of rewards. There's just all these simulations that you can create. If you have your portfolio set up, you can hit load portfolio and it'll actually show you with your portfolio what it would do to it, which is just a super cool tool. If you're someone who's trying to create a idea or a plan for your future, I think everyone in cryptocurrency should have a plan, short-term plan, long-term plan. This tool helps you create plans with your PTGC and UFO portfolio.
Can you pull that down, Adam? Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's a great tool. It's completely free. Feel free to hop on there and click around and learn.
And again, like we were trying to connect a wallet to those calculators, because you can literally, when you're going in and simulating some kind of like the moon math calculator, all you have to do is click connect wallet or something like that. You click on it and it brings your portfolio in to the calculation. So you can do a forecast or whatever kind of calculation based on your portfolio. It's super slick.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, guys. This is every time we get back together to do a stream, I become even more bullish. So this is great.
Cool. I'm glad you're excited.
Yeah. I mean, the referral link, that's awesome. It's getting people talking about it. And I just see the consolidation happening across Pulsechain, people leaving all these other stupid communities, and people are coming back to PTGC. So it's good to see. It was inevitable.
Yeah. Right from the very beginning, but who would have known? You know?
Yeah. Yep. That's how it is. Well, man, I think we got through a lot there. Tons of alpha. Appreciate the 197 of you in here right now. Smash that like button. Follow Prairie Banana. Follow TheGray369. And I'm sure we'll be back in the near future to do another one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Vibra.
Yeah. As always. Go ahead.
Use Vibra's referral link, guys.
Yes, the correct one is now posted in the description, so there's no confusion anymore. So appreciate all you guys that are here, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Up in the building. Yeah, we lighting up the scene. Crypto gems on radar, chasing every dream. Do your own research, that's the golden theme. We bring the facts, no cap, we keep it clean. Scrolling through the charts, got my eyes on the rise. Viber got the info, got me feeling so wise. No hype, just the truth, yeah, we cutting through lies. Sharpen knowledge on a daily, watch the profits multiply. From Bitcoin to the altcoins, we digging for gold. Community so strong, never do what you're told. That's the motto, let the story unfold. We ain't selling you a dream, just the facts to behold. Viber finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep the future bright. Viber got your back, we ignite your flight. No pump and dump, just the realest advice. We break it all down, make it simple and nice. Every tip, every trick, got you rolling the dice. But with knowledge in your pocket, you can win every price. Vibra finance, shining in the night. Crypto gems, yeah, we find them right. Do your research, keep your future bright. Vibra got your back, we ignite your flight. So when you're lost in the crypto sea, Vibra's the light, come vibe with me. Stay smart, stay sharp, and you'll always see the best gems shine with transparency.